What this nation needs is leadership. And what this nation has had are party leaders and not national leaders. We need national leaders. And that's why my focus has not been parties, but the nation. I'm available as a national leader, but I'm not available for partisan politics. There can never be a proper government without proper national processes that have the credibility and endorsement of the citizens of Zimbabwe. As your presidential choice, you, in your millions, gave a clear mandate, and that mandate cannot be repudiated, abdicated, abandoned, or squandered. On the 26th of September 2023, we wrote to our regional board, SADC. On the 23rd of October 2023, SADC responded to our request and advised that they will give the matter due consideration through the relevant organs. Various meetings have since been conducted by the leadership of SADC at various levels, in particular the latest extraordinary summit in the organ Troika on the 23rd of March 2024 in Lusaka, Zambia. What is clear is that the request to SADC is not a measure in desperation, but is and remains very simple. That as a regional body, we require their facilitation to resolve the issues around irregular and disputed elections. The problem of manipulated elections have produced far many problems, particularly a government that is without a mandate and a government that has since culminated into high levels of intolerance, violations, repression, illegal recalls of citizen representatives, in itself an unprecedented move and an encyclopedic infraction of democratic tenets. You have seen unlawful arrests, persecution of citizens upon all kinds of archaic, intimidatory, and suppressive manifestation, in themselves a clear indication of the lack of mandate. We are suffering from a tanking economy, systematic corruption, population living in extreme poverty, almost 49% of the population, man being looted, almost 1.8 billion in terms of the latest statistics being looted annually, 100 million worth of gold being smuggled monthly, galloping hyperinflation, half of the population being food insecure, and over 3 million Zimbabweans being forced to migrate, with almost over 89% facing unemployment. This is all because of disputed national processes and national elections. Only legitimate government chosen by the people of Zimbabwe has the mandate and confidence to deliver on the necessities and demands of the nation and the public. You know why you voted for change. Zimbabwe's challenges are a direct result of the lack of legitimacy and mandate to govern. A truly elected citizen government is the solution to our governance deficits and the desire and necessity of service delivery in our country. This point has been made to SADC, the AU, and indeed the international community, that it is untied and untenable to sanitize and fertilize theft of elections and electoral malpractices by turning a deaf ear and casting a blind eye to matters of gigantic electoral fraud, such as we have seen, in itself an affront to the Africa we want. Elections are the highest level through which the mandate is attained and ascertained as a contract between the governing and the governed. No government can justly claim authority to govern unless it is based on the will and consent of the citizens and the people. None must be allowed to come through to office through the back door, through the window, or coercive means or command antics and tactics, as we have seen in Zimbabwe. SADC condemned the process, the AU condemned the process, and therefore condoning it is clearly untenable. And of course, we don't expect them to ultimately endorse a sham and a fraud. It will be a contradiction in terms to determine a process flawed and yet condone its outcome. Our deliberate effort and desire to exhaust available remedies domestically and regionally and continentally as a peaceful way and means to resolve the national issues, which in itself is not a manifestation of a weakness. We are doing this not because we are devoid of any other means or ways or other ideas. It is strictly because we are committed to finding each other as a nation and amicably resolving our points of conflict, disjuncture, and disagreement. Millions of you agree with this approach. Zimbabwe is too beautiful and precious to be destroyed by flames of political disputes under our watch. We don't want to be the authors of the demise of this great nation. Our beautiful country cannot and can never progress on the back of disunity, division, and successive disputed national processes, including contested elections. A lot of you have asked, are we going to wait for 2028? No. 2028 is not a date in mind because 2023 has not been resolved. And what we must fix is to fix 2023 and not to wait for 2028. Locally and internationally, I have engaged all the stakeholders, including our traditional leadership, the business community, civil society at large, political parties, other political parties, and members of the diplomatic corps. I've also sought the mediatory role of the church. I've tried to engage the church leadership in their various representative organizations to try and help us resolve disputed elections and contested national processes. I've even numerously efforted to engage with other parties, in particular with the presidential contender, the leader of ZANU-PF. He's aware of our point of dispute. I've raised this with him. I've even gone further to give a proposed way forward to resolve the issues that are affecting our country. Our point of dispute is clear. It is a disputed election, and that is the center and the basis, the foundation of all our problems. And we have proposed a clear way forward. And we have also developed and shared that roadmap with all other key stakeholders, which paper we are ready to share and make public in due course. What this nation needs is leadership. And what this nation has had are party leaders and not national leaders. We need national leaders. And that's why my focus has not been parties, but the nation. I'm available as a national leader, but I'm not available for partisan politics. I've engaged leaders, various heads of state, through delegations I've dispatched into the various capitals of our region and the continent to brief the esteemed excellencies about the dispute in the country, election dispute, the political stalemate, and our proposed way forward. The point I made to them is that we acknowledge that there is a de facto government, but the de facto government is not a legitimate government. It is a caretaker government. There is a de facto parliament, and the de facto parliament is not the de jure parliament, but a caretaker parliament. So whatever we have are placeholders, but we need a proper mandate from the citizens of Zimbabwe to have a proper government, a position that they've understood and appreciated. And it is inevitable. It is nigh. Stay course, stay the course, hold the fort, hold fast. Stand involved and stand ready. Change is upon us. I felt that there was need for you to know where we are with SADC, with the diplomatic corps, where we are with various other stakeholders. And of course from there, we are going to then be clear on the way forward. But tell you what, don't despair. Change is coming.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I'm a king,